Beijing is the capital of China. It's also the center of a humongous economic explosion. It's made China one of the biggest economic powers in the world. So Beijing is a totally modern city, but also ancient. It's also the centerpiece of so much Chinese and world history. My name is Nelson George. Welcome to Beijing. It may come as a surprise to many Americans, but basketball is like the #1 or #2 sport in China. Outside of the US, China is the #1 market for NBA, players and products. You look at this court here in Beijing. Guys have jerseys on for Chris Bosh, Kevin Garnett. There's a guy here wearing the USA basketball jerseys. So when you come to the city, you need a workout. Come to play in the courts here in Beijing. Bring your A game, because guys are here, they're ready to play. Especially if you're an American, they're gonna come at you real hard. The Forbidden City is the centerpiece of Chinese culture. It was first constructed in the 1400s under the Ming and later the Qing dynasties. It's where emperors have ruled this country for centuries. It was called the Forbidden City because for 500 years, no commoners were allowed entry. But that was a long time ago. Today, the Forbidden City is a centerpiece of Beijing tourism, and it's one of the main reasons to come to visit. A little note to African-American travelers. When you come to China, you're going to hear the phrase nigga a lot, as in nigga, 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 nigga. Now, it's not how you would think of it back in the States, so just calm down. Essentially, it's a transitional word, sort of like that thing, or like people pause and or whatever. It's just one of those words that's used very commonly here before you get to the point of your sentence. So if you hear that and you're walking down the street, do not repeat, do not chase that man down the street. I am at Dad Dong Duck, which is a chain of 3 restaurants in Beijing. I'm at one of the flagships, a beautiful and an amazing shopping mall in central Beijing. The duck was outstanding. Beautiful, I mean, it's made right here, fired up. It's like they say, 24 hours to prepare the duck from beginning to end. The last part of its journey happens here where it's in this like deep fried roaster. You see it roasting and crackling and everything. They bring it over and they slice it amazingly beautifully. It's like surgeons working on that duck. Almost everything here was quite extraordinary. All of us in America have had Chinese food a million times. Black folks love Chinese food, okay? But this is not that stuff we have one Saturday night in New York City or LA or wherever. Okay, I'm at the Eastgate Food Market, which is near the Eastgate of Forbidden City. It is nighttime in Beijing and people are hungry. So here they're having stalls as far as the eye can see. And it's not the usual fare you might have at a fast food spot in America. There's a fried chicken heart, there's sheep testicles, as well as cheap penis. And basically any part of the animal that's available, people are having a good time with. Black folks in America like their gizzard, like their chitlins. So we're not the people to be making fun of anybody's eating habits. The 798 Art Zone in northern Beijing is a destination for international art. Began in the 1950s as an industrial factory district, with help from the East Germans and Russians. It was at one point just a relic of the Cold War. But nowadays, starting really in 2000, it's become a hub for art galleries, art institutions, and artists themselves to sell and make their work. In 2006, Kehinde Wiley, one of the youngest and most important young black artists in the world, worked here on his World Stage series. Not surprising, since Beijing is a place, especially 798, where all expressions of art from all over the world are welcome. Right now we're in the original 798 building, which was an inspiration for the entire arts district. This space here was, back in the 70s, was a drill factory that was designed by the East Germans with the help of the Russians for the Chinese. And you can see up on the walls, these slogans were actual slogans to inspire the workers when they were working. CCTV is one of the it's the major TV network here in China. It's government owned and controlled, but and it's global, goes everywhere. And they just recently added their first person of color as an on-camera news presenter, and she's sitting next to me now. How you doing?
Hi.
What's your name anyway?
And I'm the first African female anchor for the news to headline their news.
Where are you from in Africa, number one?
I'm from Zimbabwe.
You're here in Beijing. You're working at a huge news organization, and you basically got recruited.
Yeah, basically I sent in an application. One day I was looking at the news and I thought, there's no black women on CCTV, and the bureau chief was very encouraging. He said, you should actually try and look into anchoring.
So it's been quite an event. I know a lot of people, you've got a lot of media coverage. What is the reaction of people from China to you being on the news here?
Of the most supportive people have been the Chinese.
So what are some tips as a person of color, African person living here in Beijing?
After your American football games,
right,
the kind of traffic, the congestion, expect that congestion, that people pushing at the subways.
Right.
The same kind of courtesies you have in public to your fellow strangers might not apply here.
I've experienced in my few days here, people want to take pictures with me.
Yes, you get that. So you'll be treated like a celebrity / object of attraction.
Why should a person of color particularly come to visit China?
Because it's such a different place. If you're one of those open-minded people that's willing to stretch your mind and to find out and discover something new about a different civilization, then come to China. China is taking over the world, so you might as well see who the new hegemon is going to be, right?
Okay. This is Nelson George with Dumbai Kajese here in Beijing, China, and BlackAtlas.com. I'm in the Sanlitun area of Beijing on Bar Street, and basically this is a very famous area where foreigners have traditionally been very comfortable. Since the Olympics has expanded, there's a lot of there's a big mall, there's a lot of American brands. You're going to see foreigners because a lot of embassies are close by. So it's a great place to come to Beijing for the first time and get really comfortable. It is 5,500 miles long. It covers 17 provinces, which is equivalent like 17 American states. And though it's not one continuous structure, it basically covers the length of this huge country. It is the Great Wall of China. I'm at the Badaling section of the Great Wall, which is about a 90-minute ride outside of Beijing. So it's very user-friendly, very tourist-friendly. There's other sections you can visit that have a different feel. So when you think about coming to the Great Wall, think about what kind of experience you want to have, and I think you basically can find it if you prepare properly. It's just unbelievable. That's all I had to say. During my time in Beijing, I've had an amazing trip. I've been to the Great Forbidden City, had amazing Peking duck, and saw a very cutting-edge arts district. So I got a real sense of a city that's both ancient and modern at the same time. Nelson George of BlackAtlas.com. Catch you in the air.